What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Elementary Season 5, Episode 4, Henny Penny, The Sky is Falling. Somebody really needs to work on naming these episodes, because they had some strange ones the past few. But yeah, another fairly interesting elementary case. You've got a guy who's doing a research paper on the study of asteroids and which one is going to come and destroy the Earth and how people are researching that and all of that stuff. It was pretty hard to follow, and I think that's my main gripe for this entire episode, is that a lot of it was very difficult to keep up with what they were saying. You know, he's writing an article about, oh, we're doing the math wrong to discover when an asteroid is heading towards Earth, which one will head towards Earth. And then all of a sudden they're talking about, well, the person who killed him wants to use the research to mine asteroids or something like that. I don't know. It was kind of out there. Even Sherlock says his theory is very out there. And that's kind of what it is. I mean, it's not really some of these cases have been pretty understandable, pretty easy to reason out, pretty easy to understand. This one was not. This one was very difficult to understand, and it's hard for me to really connect to it, because what do I care about asteroid mining? You know, I don't know. I prefer the cases where it's very easy to understand what's going on, it's easy to relate to what's going on, and has nothing to do with asteroids, because that's just weird. But I don't know. I feel like every season there's that one case that's just really bizarre as far as the reasoning goes, and really bizarre in what it involves. You know, so that is a minor gripe. It's not something that's going to ruin the episode for me. But the other part of the problem in this episode is what's going on with Sherlock and Joan, in that apparently their department that they're working with Gregson and Bell, apparently this section of the department is getting a medal for what they've done. And because Sherlock has been such a big part of that, Gregson thinks he and Joan should be a part of the service whenever they get the plaque. And Sherlock doesn't want to. And we've seen this before in other Sherlock incarnations. We've seen that he doesn't want to be in the limelight. He wants to be working in the shadows. And it makes sense why. You know, I understand that he feels like if he lets himself get this praise, that it might go to his head, and then it becomes more about him. Part of it is very egotistical of him, like thinking that everybody will start praising him and his work will overshadow the work of the detectives. That part is very egotistical. Obviously, that's not just going to happen. But at the same time, I think it does make sense for him that it might end up affecting him and causing him to think more about himself. So, I get that, but then they just sort of throw all of that to the side because Joan says, you know, you should be there. Her reasoning didn't make a whole lot of sense. You know, she talks about him going to the AA meetings and talking about giving his story, and pretty much says the people, they listen to you and they want to hear your story not because of you, but because of what you've done. Something along those lines. It was, I don't know, it was just really bizarre. And then at the end he just shows up for the service, so all it took was that one little speech from Joan, and that was it. It was, I don't know, I was hoping we'd get a bit more about Sherlock in this episode, because we end up seeing a guy who, he and Sherlock knew each other very well, and because he's so accomplished, it was kind of funny seeing him just really put Sherlock down, and you can tell that there's a lot of history there. So I was hoping there would be a little bit more there about their history and what Sherlock went through, you know, back in England as a detective, all that stuff. We didn't get a whole lot of that. We just kind of got, they talked. It was funny seeing them sort of go back and forth, matching intellects, and then the whole, is Sherlock going to be there for the service, that whole thing, it was just sort of rushed through. So I don't know, it wasn't one of the best episodes. I thought it was fairly weak from what I expect for Elementary. And I don't know, I feel like they could have done something more with this episode, but as it is, it's just another case. It's just another storyline going on for Sherlock and Joan. So they didn't take advantage of it, in my opinion. They could have done something different with this whole plaque thing. You have Sherlock really have him tell a story of what happened in England when he started getting praise and how that affected him there, instead of just talking about, oh, well, if they praise me for this, then I'm going to get even more praise, and then eventually my work will overshadow the department. And that just, it doesn't sound realistic to me. So, long story short, I wish they'd done more. We'll see what next week brings. I didn't get to see the preview, so I don't know what it's going to be about, but hopefully they start to have some sort of ongoing story for this season, because right now it doesn't feel like we have much of one. It feels like it's just sort of going case by case, and that's it. Nothing going on in the background, no interesting storyline to, ooh, what's going to happen next? So hopefully they introduce something like that soon, because right now it's just sort of, It's been a very bland season, and I don't want to see that happen to Elementary. I don't want to see it start to get bland, because last season really should have done a lot better with the end, and they didn't. So hopefully they can pick it up. Hopefully they can figure out what to do next. We'll see what's going to happen, but let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? What would you like to see next week? Let me know. We can talk about, discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Elementary reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.